It's for all the marbles now. As the finale of Marble GP Championship Season 8 here at Mexico City Palindrome is upon us. Blah, blah, blah. You know how the Q1 and Q2 formats work by now. Right? Right? Well, I guess Yoshi doesn't, but again, he's a cat, so go figure. And go figure that we're also going to start off here with Ashleman here in the final qualifying session of this season. This has been an absolutely dreadful one to watch. No top 10 finishes. In fact, Tudu didn't get a single top 10 finish either. Ashleman has done so well in qualifying every single time and botched the race so badly every single time. Well, let's see what they get with a 27.49 to start things off here. And now Hyoko rather. It's had a much better season than both of Macra, but it's Coyote who just locked last place, even with the fastest lap last round, in the individual standings up for this season. That's the second season in a row where Suzuka is going to have that happen in one of them rounds. And Hyoko currently sits pretty close to the middle of the individual standings. Let's see if they can keep their streak of scoring in every round up. And they don't get stuck in Q1 this time, which is good. 24.83. Much better than Ashleman. And now the hometown marble in Leon. You know, they might have had 2 top 5 finishes. Benito might have had to pull a couple rounds ago, and maybe it might have made me do something incredibly silly. That was completely on my own volition at the end of that video. But their season has been fulfilled with 5 goose eggs, aka pretty much scratch marks, and it looks like a 6th one. Even at the track where Leon, up until Tulu's winning at Tulu's Turnpike, Leon back in season 6 here was the only marble who ever won at home. And yeah, it looks like it might be a 6th goose egg for Mexico City to round things off. 31-31. Oof. And Leon ruins exactly what I was about to say about Ashleman there. I just didn't get time to in all that, because even with it going over 30 seconds, still was way too quick for me to be able to say something. But yeah, I was going to say Ashleman might be trying to reverse what they've been up to, but they qualify amazingly every single time in Q1 and then just drop off in the race and completely throw everything away that they had. Except bonus points that already claimed them by that point. And now Kirby. So here, yeah, they seem to have showed another... They definitely have shown another example here of what not to do, and yeah, that sums it up perfectly. And yeah, Kirby, I don't even explain what happened at this point without comment of a scene to become after the first 2 rounds in this season. Yeah, moving on to Redcliffe. And yeah, I suppose Leon is qualifying well. I mean, Kirby, they could at least beat Leon, but not even that. They just decided not even to finish. And now Redcliffe, can they do literally any better than that? They got a podium here last season, so surely it has to happen, right? And they did pretty well in their last round as well. And perhaps unsurprisingly, 3rd out of 5. 29.09 by Redcliffe. That was still, that's still 4 1/4, over 4 1/4 seconds, in fact, worse than the time Hyoko put up. So clearly they just put a spaceship, a absolute superstar of a qualifying lap, considering they have 2 DNFs in Q1 pretty much the exact same way over the 4 rounds, I was not expecting to see, but here we are. And now Chemnitz. Chemnitz has had several good qualifyings, but the rounds, like the good results in the rounds outside of the first one, have really just not come whatsoever here for them. And now Roundy Kerr, talking about Marble, who's had disastrous qualifying, except for Boston Speedway on every single occasion possible. Can they at least get through the Q1 lap this time? Yeah, Monza. Since Roundy Kerr qualified 3rd there, have not had a single qualifying that's at the bottom 6. And that should change here. And yeah, outside of, in fact, that was their best qualifying since round 3. Literally their 3rd best qualifying for Monza the entire season. Only bested by the 2 3rd places, so the first 2 rounds by Desio and Roundy Kerr each. That didn't stop Desio from going 15th to the 6th lap round, and now Maharashtra. The season was shaping up to be so good after the first 2 rounds, but the comebacks in the rounds just never came, and this time they are qualifying amazingly in 3rd so far. Maharashtra, that is still 2 exact seconds worse than what Hyoko put up. Yeah, clearly Hyoko's time was just an unreachable masterpiece, and now let's see if California can do literally anything to avenge Cupertino's second half here. Really just ever since the first 3 to 4 rounds of their season. Can they do literally anything? Okay. As expected, they DNF. And yeah, California, I don't know what kind of thing they've been hitting on themselves ever since the second round, or really just this entire season in general, but it sure has been worthy of them becoming a retiree now. Los Angeles. Let's see what they do. Oh, okay. Thought another DNF was incoming, which for a Marvel whose qualifying have been this good, wouldn't expect to see. And what you would expect, and what I would expect to see out of them, and actually did get out of them there, is a third place qualifying originally. Now Sprout State. They have had nothing to show for this season. Greenville has really carried their corpse for this entire season so far. How well they did in their last 2 rounds. So get the 4th originally in the individual standings, by the way. Unfortunately, it's not possible for voting to happen, but it absolutely is possible for Sproutston to get them the team the overall podium. I mean, that would be beyond unlikely, but what at least isn't possible. Well, actually, what is impossible now is how we're missing out on Q2 in California, transferring to it, which on one side I really did not expect to see, and on the other I really did expect to see there. And now here comes Seminole. Can they get around that curve? Yes. And unsurprisingly, Kirby and California, very alliterative names there indeed, are eliminated with their Q1 DNFs from being able to make it into Q2 at all. And yeah, Seminole, it's not looking good for them to try and transfer here. Now Holbrook getting into the team still, but transferring the team championship, but I doubt Quincy are going to stay in here for much longer here, as they pretty much need a perfect round with St. Albans and Kuala Lumpur to do absolutely nothing in terms of getting points whatsoever. That's actually pretty good. And I was wrong when I said that was actually good, because, well, I assumed, and I suppose as a wise man once said, assumption is the mother of all... Yep. Sorry for the language. Had to censor it. Anyways, moving on to Gangman. And to the dismay of the home crowd, and surprise of nobody, Liana has been eliminated. And to the surprise of nobody as well, like I said, Gangnam was going to transfer. They do. Well, not yet, but Gangnam is on the likely side of things to try and make it. As we get Tulis, who, at their home track, did what Leon did here 2 seasons ago, and saved what has been an otherwise terrible season for themselves. And at least definitely started working with Terra Trance to get Paris to where they are now in the team championship, and get them to a provisional P1 here in Q1. Tulis perhaps trying once again here to get a P1 in Q1, P1 in Q2, and win with fastest lap in the race, and that would, in essence, just clinch Paris the team championship, if I were to be honest. But now, into the teams that have a realistic chance of winning, I mean, Paris, they aren't really too far behind Bitter Flame, but here we go, Hotham. They got pole with fastest lap here last season. Well, no, not pole with fastest lap. Best gainer with fastest lap, and the win here last season, and that's provisional P1. Let's go with Hotham. They knew a thing or two about reversing, or rather completely flipping the script from what they did in their last Q1 session. That one's for sure, is they take the top spot away from Toulouse right after Toulouse got it, and knocks out Holbrook, and eliminates any chance for Quincy to be able to win or even get second place in the team championship. Now, speaking of championships, Calhoun has the other one in the individual championship pretty much locked up here, if they do well. And they did! And now Rockoff. They and Ampang, who's literally going to be up next, by the way, fumble this Q1 session, and Calhoun gets even top 3 at all in Q2. I think the individual championship is pretty much going to be locked up with Calhoun at the end of this qualifying. And speaking of which, if it wasn't already looking likely to come, the streak of Ashland we can get to Q2 finally gets broken here. And there goes Chevnitz as well. And yeah, Rockwall, they are safe. And maybe trying to gift crack out the team championship, but it's going to depend heavily on what Ampang and Harpenden do. Ampang, speak of the devil, is up right now. Well, that entry into the funnel was not particularly good, but it actually slowed down a lot of momentum and got them to go in there a lot longer than they could have. Oh, that's so close. And they're in. And now Maharashtra, they're going to be waiting anxiously to see if they can finally get to Q2 after all this time, or if Harpenden will do what they need to give them and their team the team championship here, now that Vermont can't win the individual championship anymore. And they're currently 1 point behind Calhoun, so heartbreaking that for Vermont. Now let's see, can Harpenden actually do what they need to beat Maharashtra and get St. Albans, and give St. Albans at least a fighting chance here at the team championship? so they don't really have to fret all that much in the race, even though there's going to be a lot of fretting. Absolutely not! And yeah, St. Albans, alongside Seoul, are the only one of 2 teams in team championship contention not to make it to Q2, and with how slim of odds that Seoul have at winning this team championship, even with the caliber gang name has been racing at every single round they've been in this season so far, specifically the most recent one, I'd say St. Albans are pretty much the only one of those 6 to miss Q2, and they are the first one in the standings right now. They're leading right now by 1 point. And yeah, what a disaster Harpenden has just caused for them here. And hey, Hatem and Toulouse, they qualified 1-2 in Q1 going back-to-back like that. They were 1-2 in this race last season, so despite the fact that event was over a year and 10 months ago at the time of making this video, that is definitely a bit of a trip down memory lane here at Mexico City Palindrome, which arguably causes the most of those out of all these MGPC tracks that are known, I would argue. And for the final time this season, we are rolling in Q2. And Toulouse has already taken Hotham's lead. Albeit that scoreboard doesn't really seem to have updated, so I don't know if that's... Oh yeah, well, I suppose that's because it lasted all of 10 seconds as Hotham, damn it, gets back by. And that allows them and Toulouse to gap the rest of the field. Albeit that gap between Toulouse and Ampeng, who's now in 3rd, big name there, by the way, definitely decreased, and so did Ronnie Kerr's hopes of fathoming really anything here in this Q2 session, and from the looks of it, they already have stopped. Wow. That is genuinely pathetic. Maybe the tape needs to be, like, redone there. Anyways, who's in the lead now? It's Ampeng in front of Toulouse, who, okay, I don't even know what happened to them. But Ampeng got their lead away, and I assume Toulouse got pushed off on that part. It's a pretty terrible view from this one, but I think they got pushed off entering that green path by Ampeng. And that tape has been removed. That's what stopped Ronnie Kerr. Toulouse is actually behind them because they fell off the course as opposed to staying on it. Because, yeah, now I can firmly say that that was definitely a shove from Ampeng that pushed them off that beginning of the green part. And speaking of Toulouse, can they get by Claw here for pole position? No, they cannot. And Hotham, in fact, shoves them aside to steal 2nd place on the grid from them as well, as the rest of the marbles, except Maharashtra, finish Q2. And realistically, with that pole position, I'd say Krakow, if anything, have a great shot at winning this team championship, but don't count out Hotham or Toulouse, who still held on to those bonus points for their teams, unlike, importantly enough, Kowloon or Ampeng, or, of course, Harpenden, but, you know, they had no chance, and, I mean, unlike, of course, Gain or Holbrook as well, but they virtually needed those to give their teams any fighting chance of winning the team championship, rather. And they didn't get any, so I think it's pretty confident to say it's just down to 6 teams to be able to win the team championship. It's actually 7, and don't get me started with what I'm about to probably say next, and don't force me into it here. But, yeah. Also, Maharashtra, you finally made Q2. You happy now? Not in the slightest. Okay, well, predictably so at that, I suppose. But we will see you tomorrow to crown a champion here in Marble GP Championship Season 8, both individually and as a team. See you tomorrow.